Today on StockCharts in Focus, it is an absolutely huge moment as we've just launched another site-wide product release. New tools, new features, new updates, and enhancements in every corner of the site. We're talking new options data, earnings data on the symbol summary page. We've got intraday Forex charts, custom messages for your alerts, and a ton in ACP, of course. We've even got the new Android app for your phones. Now, the big thing is we've also got technology previews coming out for some of the bigger features that are going to be coming out later this year. So we got a ton to show you. I'm excited to kick it off. You know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's StockCharts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, StockCharts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel where we dig into the site, dive into those tools, show you around the resources, show you what's new, and ultimately help you get more value out of StockCharts. That's our mission here every Friday on the channel. So excited to be back with you this week. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. And I got to say, you're probably going to hear me say the word excited about 7,000 times on the show today, because I truly am just thrilled with this moment. We've got a huge product release that just rolled out in every corner of the site. We are going to dig into it really in sort of pieces, sort of stages over the next couple of weeks together on this show. But today we're going to run you through the highlights, make sure that you're aware of the release notes, which are going to be your guide to everything that's new. And we're also going to talk about these technology previews that we've just launched, in addition to the new features that are officially out with this site-wide product release. We've got a ton going on. Truly, I think I'm going to say it. I think this might be our biggest product release ever. When you add in, especially those giant technology previews for some of the huge features that we've been working on, some of the things that are coming out later this year, this really is a monumental release, a truly exciting one. There it is again. We've got a ton to show you, so I am just really itching to get going. You're going to have a lot of fun on the show today. Now we're going to show you those release notes, going to show you how to access those. We'll walk through kind of all those features. Then we'll show you how to access those technology previews, which is going to be the most fun part. So without further ado, let's jump over to the site and get it going. All right, everybody, we are on our charts and tools page. Now, this page actually in and of itself has gotten a little bit of a refresh. We've moved that favorite symbol summary tool, very popular tool, move that actually up into the top row, because these kind of are our primary tools. We've got SharpCharts, we've got ACP, that advanced charting platform, and we've got the symbol summary page. Now that has actually received some new treatment, some new features, so that's why we've got the new label on that. But I always like to show people this page. This is kind of the the great directory of everything that's on StockCharts, and you can see we've actually kind of enhanced it, reorganized things a little bit, added more icons over here on the side, which is kind of nice too. But the reason that we are jumping into this is that this is where you can access our What's New page. So the site-wide product release has just launched. We've added a new card to our What's New page, and we've got the release notes accessible there. So when you're on the Charts and Tools page, scroll down to the bottom, look for that What's New card, and you can access that What's New page. Now, the other way to get here, you can also access it from over in the sidebar under Education and Support. You can look for What's New right there. And in the meantime, we've got these big green banners up across the site. So you can look for those, hit that button, see what's new. That'll take you right over to those release notes, and will help you, jump into all those features. If that big green banner, though, is not up on the site by the time you're watching this show, just remember that you can access that What's New page from right here on the Charts and Tools page. Last way to get there, actually, if you just want to hit it directly, stockcharts.com/new. That'll take you right to that What's New page. So let's actually jump down to the bottom here, and we will open up the What's New page. So I want to show you the kind of landing page, the main page first. This is where we've got, like I said, that new card for this spring product release that has just launched. You can actually see some of the little teaser images over here on the right. This is kind of the highlights. So we have added a ton, like I said, to the site in really every corner of the entire website. There is an absolutely immense list of things that have just changed. And on top of that, we've got these technology previews that I'm excited to show you. If you want kind of the quick rundown, you can read through this list, some of the highlights of things that we've done, like those options data additions. We've really enhanced our options coverage, actually partnered with Tony Zhang and the Options Play team. We've got our new Android app that's come out. Like I said, we've got new things on the symbol summary page, custom messages for your alerts. You can actually add a specific message to any of your alerts now. Forex data and some huge additions to ACP. So this kind of gives you the Cliff's Notes, if you will, of what has changed. But the thing that I want to make sure you all do, and what we're going to do together on the show today, is hit that big blue button. So when you dive into there, these are what we call the release notes for that site-wide product launch. So again, in every corner of the site, we've had things change, a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well, improvements, bug fixes, stability enhancements, those kinds of things. But we put out these release notes for every release that we do. We've been doing these for a while now. We put out these release notes to make sure that you're aware of all of the big features that have changed. You can see these are some of the highlights, kind of the high-level features that are going to make the most impact in your process. But then even down at the bottom, we've got some of the sort of the next level down, some of those other changes that we want to make sure you are aware of. So we are going to actually run through this page. I want to make sure that you have a good guide to everything that has changed. I want to talk through a couple of these, give you guys a sense of what has changed. Before we do that, though, we're going to come back to this. But the thing that I also want to point your attention to, point your eyeballs to, is this big blue banner right at the top of the page. That's not all. It's not just this product launch. We are also doing something different with this release. We've got some major features in the works, things that take more than just a couple of months to put together. Things like an entirely new charting engine to power SharpCharts 3, what we're calling SharpCharts 3, new charting capabilities for SharpCharts, much more control over the scaling, the position of indicators, lots of new indicators, tons of things are coming to SharpCharts very, very soon. We've also added an entirely new SharpCharts Workbench, the page that actually surrounds those charts. So some huge things. We'll preview that at the end of the show. And then also a major update for our MarketCarpet tool, that kind of heat mapping, market analysis, market mapping tool. So we'll show you those, but the key is that we've got this big blue banner right up at the top. This is going to give you access to some of those technology previews. Again, we'll come back to that. We'll show you how those work. But definitely remember to check those out. Also, if you want to get to that page, instead of clicking through these links, you can go to stockcharts.com/preview, just like you can go to stockcharts.com/new to find these release notes. So we'll come back to those technology previews. That's going to be one of the big things. And again, we are going to cover a lot of these features individually, more specifically, over the next couple of weeks. So what I want to do on the show today is just give you the high level, make sure that you're aware of what has changed so that you can go pick and choose the ones that you really want to dive into first. Again, you're always going to have these release notes to come back to, but I'll be sort of guiding you along as you go and explore some of these things on your own. So first and foremost, I mentioned those options updates. We have greatly expanded our options coverage. We've got new data, actually a whole bunch of new fields for that options tool. Our options chain tool was something that we brought out with our last release. And now we've partnered up with one of our favorite contributors, Tony Zhang, and his team of experts over at Options Play. What they do for a living is think about how to make options intuitive, easier to understand, and how to make options tools that are really going to work for us all. So we've partnered with Tony and the Options Play team to actually go through our chains table, go through the data, make sure that we're doing some filtering that they've noticed, make sure we're adding in the right fields. And with their input, we have greatly expanded and enhanced and improved those options tools. So very, very excited about that. A couple of the cool things that are on there, we now have Greeks data, which is great to have coverage for. We've got better filtering in the menu that'll actually allows you to pick your expiration date. And as you can kind of see in this little preview image here, you got to click in to get the full feature, but we've got a strike range slider. So if you want to see just a specific strike range, you don't want to see everything that's out there for a specific symbol, you can actually use that strike range slider to kind of narrow down your view. view and only look at prices, strikes between a specific range. So very, very cool. Some interactive features in there as well that let you, decide which columns you want to see. So super, super excited. If options are something that are interested to you, if you trade options, definitely check out that tool. Of course, in addition to that, we also have the ChartList view, and as we'll preview at the end of the show, we also are integrating more features into the next version of our SharpCharts Workbench. So we'll show you that preview for the new SharpCharts Workbench, what we call that page that kind of surrounds those charts, like I mentioned. We've actually integrated all of these new options tools directly into the SharpCharts Workbench. That's going to be something that we're doing moving forward, actually building more tools kind of right in there alongside your charts, similar to what we have in ACP if you're an ACP user. So options are kind of the one that we have actually started with as a preview for you. So if options are interesting to you, that is a big one. Now, if you are an Android user on your phone or on your tablet, we brought out our StockCharts mobile app for iOS devices with our last release. This time around, we're turning our attention to Android. We have officially released our StockCharts Android app for StockCharts users. So you can get access to that right here. You can actually scan this QR code, or if you're on one of those devices, hit that Google Play link that'll open the store up right there. But some amazing features in that app. I love it. I gotta say, I'm an iOS user. I got my iPhone, but I love using the mobile app when I'm out on the go, especially checking up on markets, or if I've got a specific symbol that pops into my brain and I'm thinking, ooh, I wonder how that's doing today. I can quickly pull up a chart. There are a couple of great features in that app, and this is really just the beginning for us. So again, we wanted to get that iOS app out first. We've turned our attention to the Android app now, so we are sort of consistent across both of those. And now we're going to turn our team loose and say, okay, we got more features that we want to add to these apps. So this is really just kind of version 1.0 for those. But if you are an Android user, you can get that StockCharts mobile app now in the Google Play Store. Very, very excited about that. And again, on your phone or on your tablet. If you're an iOS user, by the way, we have the mobile app. You can access that actually at the bottom of any of these pages. Look anywhere around the site. You can actually look for those App Store buttons down in the footer, what we call the footer of the website. Give those a click. So both apps now out in the stores. Next up, I gotta say, one of my personal favorite additions. You can see a little preview of this here in this animation that we've added. We now have earnings and revenue history on the symbol summary page and the symbol summary chart list view. So one thing that we brought out last release was our new earnings calendar, which shows you upcoming earnings dates and also recent reports, how different stocks have done after reporting earnings. We've taken that and brought it over to the symbol summary page. So now when you're researching those individual names, let's say you're looking at Apple or Nvidia or JP Morgan, when you jump over to that symbol summary page to dig into those individual names, you have earnings and revenue history right there on the page. As you can see, again, in this graphic, we give you earnings history, we give you revenue history, and we do those quarterly over the last 4 quarters. You can also choose to jump over to the annual view. That's kind of what that little menu change is there in that animation. You can jump over to the annual view and actually see annual earnings and revenue history over the last 4 years. Now, the really cool thing about this too is that we've got those handy little graphics which let you see, which quarters they beat, which quarters they've missed on both top and bottom line. But you can also jump over with those little buttons that you can kind of see there on the right. You can jump over to the table view. So you get to choose actually. Do you want the chart view for that earnings graph, or do you want the table view to actually just kind of see those numbers really, really quickly and compare across quarters? I am loving this feature. I am so happy that we finally have earnings data right there, earnings history right there on that symbol summary page. That has been a long time coming. So I am very, very thrilled, very excited, like I said, to be announcing that one today. Next up, we've got custom messages for your alerts, something that we've heard a lot of requests for over the years. We now have this for price alerts and for your advanced alerts. So when you set any of those alerts that get delivered to your email, to the site, or to your phone, you can set up these custom messages up to 2,000 characters. You can remind yourself why you set that alert. let's say you're setting something on Microsoft breaking out to new highs. Well, instead of just getting an alert that says, hey, Microsoft has broken out to this price level that you set the price alert at, you can actually get that delivered with a message that says, Microsoft breaking out to new highs above key resistance. Watch for a breakout. This could be a tradable entry or something like that. You can make those alerts as long as you want, up to 2,000 characters, and they really do enhance your experience. I've been using this kind of quietly for a little while now, and I am loving that experience. I set a lot of price alerts in my account because I'm always watching for breakouts above key levels. So this is incredibly helpful to say, hey, this is sort of a tier 1 breakout. We still got some overhead supply above, but definitely move this one up the watch list. Whatever you want to do with these, having those messages on those alerts, very, very helpful. Like I said, you can do this as you're actually seeing in that animation. You can do this on the price alert workbench. And if you jump over to those advanced alerts, we have a very similar little text box where you can enter any custom message that you want. So very, very cool. The nice thing with the advanced alert ones too is that when those alert results get emailed out to you and you jump over to the site and you've got that full list, you'll see those messages right up at the top. So if you get a big list of symbols back, it makes it really, really easy to see what that alert was for, why you set it in your account. Very happy to have that one. Next up, kind of like with our options data, we've got more coverage. We have added intraday Forex coverage for a huge list of currency pairs. Very, very excited about this one as well. The data team has been working hard on this. So as you can see in this little preview chart, this is actually a 5-minute couple day chart of the euro versus the US dollar. So if you are a currency trader, we have better support for you now with those intraday charting capabilities for Forex data. Super, super excited to have that. It's available now on ACP and also available in SharpCharts. So whichever platform you use, you've got that intraday data now for Forex, which is great. Not just on the charts, but also in those data tables as well. So, if you put some of those currency pairs into a chart list and you set that to auto refresh, you'll be getting updated intraday data throughout the day, throughout the session. So very excited to have that one as well. Now, probably my second favorite feature. I might be competing for first. I don't know. It's tough. I've been wanting that earnings data for a long time, but this could be my second favorite. Dave Keller says this is his favorite feature from the release. Sector Summary, one of our favorite tools, one of our most popular, allows you to start at that top level, drill down through the markets from the sector level down to the industry groups within, and then down to the stocks within that. That tool, which is a beloved, very, very popular feature, is now integrated directly into ACP. So right down, as you can see at the bottom of the screen in the drawer, there's now a tab that says Sector Summary. That lets you pop open that panel. It'll kind of open half screen, but you can also open it all the way up to take over the entire screen if you want. You can now drill through the markets right there in ACP. This, I think, is the best way to use the Sector Summary tool. The standalone feature that we've had for a long time that is incredibly popular, a great, great tool. But one of the weaknesses, I will admit, is that once you actually find something you want to chart, you have to go open a chart of that and it's going to open in a new tab. The beauty of this Sector Summary tool right there in ACP is that you have access to the charts and the tool at the same time. So as you can see in this little animation, again, if you kind of keep an eye on that, as you're drilling down through sector level to industry group level to the stocks within, along the way at any point you can pull up a chart of those symbols. If you want to chart XLK, the technology sector, then drill down into that and chart the software industry group, and then go find some of the individual names within that software group. You can chart everything along the way without having to leave the Sector Summary tool itself. So a favorite of mine, definitely a favorite of Dave Keller's. He said that's his favorite feature from the entire release. So we are thrilled to have that in ACP now. Another great one that we've added to ACP is our measurement tool. So right up at the top of that platform, there's a little ruler icon that we've added. And what that allows you to do is actually turn on this feature that measures different parts of the chart. So as you can see, again, in that animation, you can click and click on 2 points of the chart. And at the top of the screen, we'll have a little floating sort of panel, little floating box that tells you the specifics about what you've just measured. So it'll tell you the price change, the percentage change, and how many bars you've moved horizontally. You can also use this on indicators. If you want to measure a specific move on a technical indicator, how far the RSI has come off from its peak, something like that, you can also use that measurement tool to measure those indicators. This is a great addition to the crosshairs functionality and kind of matches something that we've had in SharpCharts for a long time, where you can turn on the crosshairs or the inspector and actually measure different distances on your charts, up and down and side to side. So having the crosshairs in ACP and the measurement tool really gives you a lot of control, a lot of charting power, a lot of flexibility there at your fingertips now in ACP. So definitely one that I'm using a lot, definitely one that you should check out if you're an ACP user. Now this is a big one. We've added 7 new technical indicators. All of them are really intended to keep you aware of different specific levels on those charts, new highs and new lows in particular. So a couple of the ones that we've added are sort of pairs. We've got the high version and then the low version. My favorite among the bunch is something that we're calling the traffic light indicator. And it's very, very visual, very, very powerful, very, very cool. That is that kind of Rasta coloring that you can see on this chart, the green, the yellow, and the red. What the traffic light indicator allows you to do is take any symbol and set specific price levels on that chart that you think are important, sort of upper bounds and lower bounds. Now, specifically, if you're taking something like the market as a whole, let's take the S&P 500. We've seen a really, really interesting thing happen in the last year and a half, 2 years, where the market's come way off those highs, has bounced far back up, but is still trading below those all-time highs, and has done definitely a lot of sideways trading, right? We've seen that this year. So a lot of people think about sort of bullish and bearish zones on their charts. If we're above this level, I'm bullish. If we're below this level, I'm bearish. And if we're just chopping around in the middle, I'm just kind of neutral. So what we've done is actually created a traffic light indicator that follows along with that logic. Again, it lets you set those upper and lower bounds right on your charts. It's going to color everything above that upper bound green, sort of as a go indicator. Everything below that lower bound is going to get colored red. Again, it's kind of a stop indicator. And anything in the middle is going to get colored yellow, kind of as a neutral indicator, right? Be cautious, slow down. You might want to be aware of what's going on. So it kind of follows along with, just like you think of a traffic light, green is go, red is stop, yellow is kind of be careful and slow down. So we've actually created an indicator that kind of allows you to quickly and easily set those zones on your charts. We've seen a lot of people over the years do this by just coloring different boxes on their charts and kind of adding colored rectangles. This indicator makes it very, very easy to do that without having to worry about drawing tools or anything like that. When you first add it to a chart, it's just going to add some sort of key levels that make sense using average true range. But then you can customize those simply by clicking on the chart to set those exactly where you want. So one to play around with. I love this, especially for thinking about markets or sectors, things like that. You can also use it on individual names as well. Anywhere you want to use it, you can do that. Now, 2 others, again, that are kind of paired up, highest high value and lowest low value. Those are those lines that you can see going across this chart. Basically allows you to take any specific period that you want, 3-month highs, 6-month highs, 9-month highs, 52-week highs, things like that. And this will just print a horizontal line at that level. So you can kind of see a rolling 52-week high. You can also do the same thing with lows. It'll show you the lowest low value over a period of time that you get to set. So highest high value and lowest low value. You can use this to print, my favorite way to use this is to print 52-week highs right on the chart. And so you can keep an eye on where those levels are. You can quickly see when something is actually breaking out to a new 52-week high because it'll start breaking above those little lines at the bottom and at the top. So a really, really nice tool. We've had this for a long time with price channels, which kind of allow you to do the same thing, but with the highest high value and the lowest low value, you can actually pick and choose which one you want. A couple other very, very cool indicators that we've added are the distances group. Distance from highs, distance to highs, distance from lows, and distance to lows. So on a percentage scale, this is going to do, as the name suggests, it's going to chart a rolling distance from highs, again, that you get to set, or a distance to highs. So on a percentage basis, how far off the highs are we? And on a percentage basis, how far do we have to go back up to get to new highs? And the same thing in reverse for new lows. You can actually kind of see these at the bottom here. So they'll chart as a single line, again, a percentage value over time, and you get to set exactly what your period is. So if you want to look for 3-month highs, 6-month highs, 9-month highs, things like that, you can chart the distance, percentage distance from and to those highs or lows. So 7 new indicators. I know that was a long explanation there, but very, very exciting stuff. Really, really glad to have those now in ACP. Another one that we've had a lot of requests for, ChartList reports, a very crucial feature for SharpCharts, now available finally for your ACP list. So you can turn this on to get a daily, end of day, or end of week summary for anything in a chart list. If you've got your portfolio loaded into a chart list, for instance, you can take that list, set up the daily and the weekly reports, and at the end of the day or the end of the week, we'll email you a performance summary for everything in that list. Great way to track your portfolio, great way to track your watch list as well, and a great way to follow the markets. If you don't have time to pay attention to everything in the markets every single day or every single week, you can set up a few chart lists with the indexes or the symbols that you want to follow, things like the sector ETFs or the major market averages. You can put those into a chart list, turn on these reports, and again, at the end of the day or at the end of the week, or both, you'll actually get those reports sent right to your inbox, emailed directly to you for everything in that list. I love this feature for SharpCharts. I'm so glad that we have it now for ACP lists, so all you ACP users can rejoice over that one. Now, another ACP addition that we've added, 8 new annotation tools. We're not going to run through each of those, but actually in this little animation, we're highlighting my favorite one, which is the volume profile. So we've got a couple more kind of technical annotation tools, things like speed resistant arc, Ganfan and Tyrone levels, and then a few kind of shape tools. So crossline is actually one of those. It'll put a horizontal and a vertical line right on your chart, and then a couple of shapes. Focus will kind of have 2 arrows pointing to each other. Hearts, if you want to really love your charts, and a cross shape or a sort of a plus sign that you can add to those charts. My favorite among the bunch, like I said, is volume profile, which is basically volume by price, a very, very amazing indicator, but volume by price that you can really control. You can set it over a specific range of bars to see that same kind of how we've traded at, what kind of volume we've traded at different price levels, but only over a specific section. So if you see something, for instance, that's been consolidating within an uptrend and you want to see, what are the levels within this sideways trading range where we've really seen a lot of volume come into play, it's incredibly easy to do that with this little volume profile annotation. You can actually kind of see that right in this demo there for applied materials, drawing that across for a specific range of bars. I love that tool. It is very, very cool. Excited to highlight that one a little bit more in the weeks to come. Finally, among our big features, we've added some helpful group filters for the earnings calendar. So we mentioned those kind of at the beginning of the show. We have recently rolled out our earnings calendar, upcoming earnings and recently reported earnings. For both of those 2 views, we now have this menu right up at the top, as you can see, that allows you to pick specific groups that you want to narrow down into. So you can pick your time frame, how many days or weeks or months you want to see earnings history for, but you can also pick specific groups like only the Dow stocks, only the S&P 500 stocks. You can do it on a sector level as well, only technology sectors, only financial names. And you can do it on a scooter level. So if you want to only see large cap scooter rankings, the StockCharts technical ranking, mid cap or small caps, or if you want to see everything, you've got those options now with these group filters for those earnings calendars. Very, very helpful. Lets you sort of narrow down into what you trade. For instance, I specifically like to focus on the S&P 1500, so this gives me a little bit more control to find those names, focus only on the things that are kind of in my universe, if you will. So definitely check that one out. When the next earnings season rolls around, this is going to be a big one for you. Now, finally, we won't run through all of these in quite as great detail. We'll just kind of hit them really quick. We have added a whole bunch of sample scans and new sample charts to our sample chart gallery and our sample scan library. This is a great tool. If you hadn't seen this one from our last release, gives you access to sort of pre-created charts and scans. You don't have to set those things up yourself. You can just go browse those libraries and get those things installed right into your own account. Start using them as they are, or start to modify them from there. I love to point people to these resources. It's a great way to get started with StockCharts, or it's just a great way to find other things that could fit into your trading and investing toolkit. So new content there, new sample scans, and new sample charts. We've also added the ability to run any of your custom scans as advanced alerts and vice versa. There are new menus down at the sort of scan and alert components section that give you a quicker, easier access to your saved scans when you're creating alerts, or vice versa, your saved alerts when you're creating scans. Very, very nice to have that. In ACP, we've got a whole bunch of other additions. You now have a little menu to access your multi-chart layouts right up at the top, so you don't actually have to open that sidebar from the left. You can just open that menu right at the top of the screen and just jump between different multi-chart layouts. Very helpful. I am loving that one. When you are sharing your ACP charts, if you do have a multi-chart layout open, we've now got enhanced permalinks. So this gives you a little bit more control over those. You can choose to share just the active chart or the entire layout. Lots of new style and display options for all of your indicators. We've added things like area and histogram to a lot more indicators, so you have actually more sort of visual display options for a lot of your indicators in ACP. We've also added sector and industry data right into the slim quote. That is something that we've been wanting to do for a while, so really nice to have a little bit more data in those narrow chart headers in ACP. One thing that we brought out with our last release was a right-click menu for ACP. So if you are in that platform, you can right-click on your charts to access some quick actions. We've added a new quick action in there that opens up historical price data right from that right-click menu. So nice to have that. Dave Keller's loving that one. That was actually a request from him. So very glad that we got that one in there. Easier access to chart comments, again, right from that nav bar. You don't have to go opening sidebars or panels or anything. Just look for that little comment icon up at the top. For any of your saved charts, you can add comments or just review what you had commented before. We do have the option now to extend those vertical lines across every panel in ACP. That's going to do that by default. So really, really glad that we had that one, a user request again. Thank you to everyone who submitted that. So we finally have support for those vertical lines going across every panel in your ACP charts. And finally, we've done some great work to make sure that your sort of saved changes are tracked a little bit better as you're going through the platform. So better messaging, better indicators. Things will actually turn yellow when you have unsaved changes. Makes it a little easier to follow your work. So that is a long run through of everything that we have added, again, with, I think, our most monumental, biggest, most important product release that we have ever done. Now, the other thing that I do want to touch on before I let you go, again, we're going to hit some of these bigger features over the next couple of weeks specifically. We'll actually sort of dive into them and give them their own show. But the other thing that I want to turn your attention to today is those technology previews. So again, you can access this using this blue box here. Hit click here. That's going to open up that preview page with those technology previews on it. Before we jump to that though, I do also want to show you, if you're a StockCharts member, you can jump over to your dashboard and look in the member tools section. We've added some links specifically for these technology previews, so you can access those from right here. If you want to access that preview page as well, you can click that at the very top. And once you have explored those, if you do for any reason want to turn them off, you can actually just uncheck that little box that'll turn those on or off. So let's jump back over to that preview page and we'll take a look at what these are. First and foremost, what we're doing here, again, we've got some huge features in the works, things that we have been working on for many months. We've still got a little bit more work to do on them, but we are getting close. Instead of just keeping all of that to ourselves, we said, you know what, the good folks in our StockCharts community need to see this stuff. We want you guys to get excited about what we're building. And most importantly, we want your feedback. We want your input. We want to hear from you about what works, what doesn't work, most importantly, and how we can make things really fit your process. We're working on some huge tools, especially for SharpCharts. ACP obviously has been a big focus in the last couple of years. So we've got some huge things coming to SharpCharts. Very excited about all of that. And we want you guys to be a part of the process. So we've actually created a feedback page. You can go to stockcharts.com/feedback to get there. We've got that feedback page and we really do want to hear from you. It's also built into the top of all of these previews. We'll show you that in just a second. So here on this technology previews page, you can see all of these. They are early release sort of demos. They're not intended to be full featured tools. Our full featured tools are the things that we show on that release notes page. Those are out for real. They should be bug free. They should be working perfectly, and they are ready to go, ready to be integrated right into your process. With these technology previews, they're really more like an early beta, if you kind of want to think about it that way, especially with this SharpCharts 3 sort of demo. That one is truly just a demo to show you kind of what we are working on. But again, we want your feedback. We want you guys to be part of the process. We want to know what you think about all of these. And we just want you to get excited about some of the cool things that we are doing. There I go. I'm saying excited again. I am beyond myself. So excited about some of the things that we are bringing out, and there's even more behind the scenes that we haven't showed you. So these technology previews, again, are meant to just be kind of a demo of what is coming. They're here to give you a sense of everything that we are working on and give you a sense of what's coming soon. So what we've done, we've got 2 for SharpCharts and we've got 1 for our MarketCarpets. I'll show you this really quick. And again, we're going to highlight this on its own episode, probably next week. We'll make that a focus of next week's show. But we've got an entirely new SharpCharts Workbench. Huge update for SharpCharts with some totally amazing, exciting, brilliant, beautiful, incredible new features. I am just so excited about this. We've got access to all of those chart settings right up at the top. So setting your period, your chart type, your range, things like that, but also setting more complex things. We've got all of those check boxes for your log scale versus arithmetic, what type of candles you want, if you want dividends adjusted for or not, things like the full quote. So lots of really cool stuff in there. And then of course, quick access to your indicators. You can click this, that'll actually scroll you right down the page. We've got saving built in here. We've got our chart style buttons, easily accessible. You can flip through all of those charts on the fly. You'll actually notice that the page doesn't refresh entirely now. It's just the chart that gets refreshed as you move through. So it's a lot faster, a lot cleaner, a lot more enjoyable experience here. And most excitingly, down at the bottom, we've got our settings, of course, that are kind of look similar to the older version, a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to use. This is going to continue to evolve. But we've got some very cool things that we're building in here. Again, right next to your charts. So here in our chart style library, this will actually show you all of the chart styles that you have saved in your own account. Or if you want to pull up some samples, we mentioned that sample chart gallery. This is basically the sample chart gallery built right into the SharpCharts Workbench. So you can actually access any of these charts. If you want to look for the experts, want to go find Dave Keller's charts or Martin Pring's charts, anyone like that, you can do that. If you want to look for popular chart styles, things like the moving average ribbon, you can just browse through this chart style library and that'll show you all of those right there. You can do a very similar thing for your chart lists. So you have a whole library down here. You can actually select any of the chart lists from your account and see little mini charts of those, and then quickly click one to actually add it up on the top. So very glad to have this. And we've got a ton of other features coming soon. So we're going to have chart list summary, the full sort of summary table built right in here. You're going to be able to add comments. We've got the symbol summary coming in here. Seasonality charts going to be added directly into the Workbench. So you're basically going to have a lot of those tools that you know and love outside of SharpCharts built right into the same page. You'll have access to your charts and have access to some of those key tools, again, like the symbol summary or seasonality charts. To give you a sense of kind of how that works, we've added options as our one symbol. So let's get up to something like Apple. We'll load in Apple, and down here, if it trades options, you can see that we've got that redesigned, enhanced, all that new data, that options data that we've added, all the work that we've done with Options Play and Tony Zhang and his team. We've actually brought that right into the Workbench to give you a quick sense of kind of where we're going with this. So again, we've got that full options chain table, some of those very cool features like that strike range slider, and you can access all of this data right below your charts. You don't have to actually open up an entirely new page. So that's where we're sort of taking all of these other views that you can see down here. Again, things like historical price data, related symbols, even things like recent tweets. And this list is going to grow. Hopefully we'll have things like the sector summary integrated down here, maybe even a market summary view, lots and lots of very exciting things happening with this new workbench. Again, this is just a preview. It's just meant to show you kind of what we're building, where we're going. You do, by the way, have very easy access to all of your chart lists up here. So if you want to jump into any of your specific list and then pull up any of your specific symbols, you can quickly do that and then click through that chart list with those little arrow buttons. I'm loving that feature. There is a ton here that I'm just absolutely loving. But again, this is all just a demo, all just a preview, meant to show you kind of what we're building and where we're going. Up at the top, most importantly, we have that share your feedback button. If you have thoughts, if you have input, if you have things that you want us to know, give that a click. That's going to open up that feedback page, and you can send our team a note about what you're seeing, what you like, what you don't like. Send in your thoughts. So we're going to go back really quick. I wanted to spend a little bit more time on that SharpCharts page. We'll go back to the preview page. We've also put in a preview of SharpCharts 3. So you can actually click through a couple of different sample charts, new capabilities that we are building into SharpCharts 3. This is very, very early, and this is not what the final page is going to look like. This is truly just a demo. You can actually see that up in the link, SC3 demo. This is just a demo to show you kind of where we're going, but we are truly building in some amazing capabilities to SharpCharts 3. Things that we haven't done before. One actually that's not quite as eye-catching, but if you really study it, you can see how cool it is this one kind of in the middle. So you can see on the price scale, we have a whole bunch of things sort of crammed in there, all on their own scales. We've got, what is that? That dividends line right in there. We've got the scooter line right in there, kind of all built into the price bar. So scaling is going to be totally different. We're going to have amazing new indicators, things like these rainbow bands, lots and lots of stuff that's coming here with SharpCharts 3. And this is meant to give you a sense of kind of what we're doing, some of those fun capabilities that we are going to be building in with that release later this year. Now, another one that I am absolutely amped about is our MarketCarpet redesign. This is going to be coming out very soon. Our MarketCarpet tool, that kind of market mapping heat map tool, is getting a major refresh. That's one that has needed some love for a long time. We see a lot of people using this tool, and we wanted to give it some love, give it a refresh. So we've got a much more kind of dynamic, visually improved, much more intuitive MarketCarpet here. Again, just a preview of what's coming soon. This is going to be released later this year, hopefully just a couple of months or so. But you can go play around with this now, and it is real data. It is a real tool. If you do want to go preview it, it's fully functional and things like that. There might be some bugs that you stumble into, things that you find. But this gives you a sense of kind of where we're going, what we're doing. We're going to be adding more groups to this. We're going to be adding more measurements to this, and we're going to be adding sharing capabilities and a whole lot more. But as it stands, this updated MarketCarpet is just an amazing visual for following the market. So here, for instance, on the sector ETFs group, you can see all of those S&P 500 stocks organized into their different sectors, and you can actually click into any of these sectors really easily to zero in, for instance, on technology. You can jump back with that button down at the bottom, and you got a whole lot of different controls. You can measure these by scooter ranking or by RSI over a specific period of time. You can also size things equal weight, price weight, or market cap weight. And you've got some really amazing color schemes to play with too. If you don't like that red and green view, you've got a lot of these that you can actually go in and play with. One that I really like is the vanilla scheme. That just seems to be pretty easy on my eyes, so I like that one. But lots of very cool new tools that we built in here. Now you've also got some really quick controls for showing the symbols or not, also that info box or the chart on hover. So if you want to have sort of nothing happen when you hover over this MarketCarpet, you can turn those off. But if you like having a little bit more info, this will give you quick access to that little floating info box. You can get a little mini chart there and see that value right up at the top of the box. The other cool thing is that, as you can see with this little note down at the bottom, you can actually double click on any of these boxes to quickly open the symbol summary for that symbol. So when you're breezing through those markets, seeing what's happened, if you want to open up Amazon, just give it a double click. That'll open up that symbol summary tool right in a new tab. So a lot has happened here with this preview page. We are very excited to have these things in your hands. Again, just early demos meant to give you a sense of what's coming, what we're working on, what's going to be available on StockCharts very soon. But as we said, look for those big green feedback buttons right up at the top. Let us know what you think. We are here. We are standing by, waiting to hear from you, waiting to take your thoughts and your input, your feedback, and incorporate it into these tools that we're building. Again, if things don't work perfectly, just remember these are really kind of early betas. They're not meant to be, fully fleshed out, fully perfectly, tested and everything like that. These really are just early demos that we wanted to make sure we got into your hands so that you guys can get excited about some of the things that we are doing. So that is going to do it for us on the show today. This is definitely a bit of a longer episode. Thank you for sticking with me, but hopefully this has given you a great sense of what is new. There's been so many new things that have just rolled out across pretty much every corner of StockCharts. And there's even more off this page, other little tweaks and changes and improvements that we have made. So if you see some changes around the site, definitely check out that release notes page. Definitely make sure that you're aware of those big things that have changed, but a lot of enhancements and improvements have just rolled out. I'm excited about it, as you know, as you can hear. But again, we're going to have more coming to you very, very soon. We've got these technology previews that we're going to continue to evolve, continue to add to. So as we make changes to those, we'll let you know. But if you do see things with those technology previews kind of evolve over time, just rest assured it's us, making those things better, moving them towards the finish line. But as with everything on StockCharts, it's always constantly evolving, constantly improving, constantly getting better. So definitely take a look, again, through those release notes. You can access that from the Charts and Tools page or right from the dashboard, or just by going to stockcharts.com/new. Look for that card right up at the top. So I want to thank you so much for joining me on the show today. It has been great to be with you as always, but especially on a monumental week like this one. Again, like I said a couple times throughout the show, we are going to be kind of diving into some of these features over the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that. If any of these are really intriguing, really exciting to you, go and play around with them now. Go and explore those and start to use them. But we are going to be digging into to some of those. And I'll be talking about some of the ways that I'm personally using them, incorporating them into my own trading and investing process as well. So we'll have some fun diving into those in the weeks to come. Again, remember, we do this show every Friday up here on our StockCharts TV channel. Very, very excited to have this show on our channel, digging into those tools, digging into those features, ultimately trying to help you get more value out of StockCharts. That is our mission here every week, every Friday. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations at StockCharts.com. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you again for being StockCharts users, StockCharts members. We love building tools for you guys, building things that are going to help you out there in the markets, make smarter decisions, navigate those markets with more clarity. So thank you for letting us do that. Thank you for being along for this journey. Thank you for being part of our StockCharts community. I'll see you again soon for the next one, but until then, chart on, my friends.